Okay, welcome back. Factorising. Now, when we're factorising quadratic and we find there is the coefficient, the number in front of the x squared, is actually greater than 1, but I do notice there's prime numbers in there, so there's no common factor. Okay, so you might pick, oh, there can't be a common factor. Okay, so if you are in this situation, you need to do additional steps. Okay, so I'm going to try and, there's several methods that people use for this, so I'm going to show one method, one way. The first way would be multiply the first and the last, the coefficient with the constant to get a new number. So it would be 2 times 20 equals 40. Okay, so that would be the first step. Now we're going to use that number there, that product there, instead of this one to get our list of numbers that multiply. So we're not going to look at that anymore, we're going to look at that. So we're going to make a list, and the list is, I'll try and see if I can see it on this side. The list is going to be 1 times 40, 1 times 40, 2 times 20, which should work, 4 times 10, and 5 times 8. So we've got a list now of things that multiply to 40. Remember how I got that was multiply the coefficient by the constant. Okay, so I'm going to use that. Now I'm looking for, we're going back to the same thing, I'm looking for this set here, plus and minus, however you want to do it, subtract, add, whatever, to get 3. Okay, so I could do 2 lists with different negatives and all that, but it's easier just to look for, we need a plus 3. So, plus 3. I think probably the obvious one would be 5 and 8. Yeah, a minus 5 and a plus 8. That should work, shouldn't it? Yeah, that would work. A minus 5 and a plus 8 should give us a plus 3. So plus 3 minus 5 gives us 3. Yep, so that's the one. Sometimes there's others that could be options, and you've got to check them and make sure they work. Yeah, sometimes you can have other ones that could possibly be options you can choose. So once we've got that, what are we actually doing? I'm going to use a different colour. What we're trying to do is we're trying to separate that middle term into 5 x's and 8 x's. So we're splitting this up into two lots. Okay. So just so you can see how it works. So we're going to have a minus. Now the way round it is, which order it's around, can matter a little bit. Okay. So maybe we have to rejig it if we have it round the wrong way. Sometimes it does matter. Sometimes, most of the time it doesn't, but sometimes it might, okay? So you've just got to be aware that you might have to change them around and redo it, okay? So it's not a mistake, it's just the order, that order can matter. So we'll bring the the minus 20 down. Remember, this is telling me one has to be plus and minus, that part. And I'll bring the 2x squared down. So now we've got the first one, now it's been split to this, okay? All right, so that's actually good. Once we're at that step, we're going to grab that and that into brackets, and we're going to grab this part and this part into brackets, and we're going to factorize both brackets. So if I put a little note next to it, factorize both. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can see that. Yep, that's in view. Factorize both of these now. So first step was to split that and then put them into their own brackets, and we're going to factorize each one of these by taking out the highest common factors to the outside and highest common factors to the outside, and then we can check if we are on the right track, or we have to do this step again, like switch them around. Okay, so let's just check it and see if we got lucky. 2 and minus 5, is there any common factors? Not really, can't think of any. So my guess is if you're finding it hard, at that point you might be thinking, actually it's 5x. That's a big error. Okay, now there is a common factor. 5x and 2x, that means we can put an x on the outside. So x multiplied by that gives us 2x, yep, and then minus 5 gives us x times minus 5 is 5x. So we've factorised that. That's why I was thinking there's no common factor. There should be. Okay, so that's good. Now we're going to do this one. 8 and 20. 4 should be probably the highest. 4 times something gives you 20. 4 times 2x, and then 4 times 5 should give us negative 20. Now at this point it's good. This is the why I like this method. At this point you can check if this bracket here and this bracket here, what's in the brackets there, they match, then you've done it right. You haven't made an error, or these are around the right way. It works, okay? If these are around the different way, it might not work. You might have to swap that to an 8 and that to a 5 to get it to work, okay? But if these are matching, then you've done it absolutely correctly, and the next step is going to be super easy. The common factors out of this and this is 2x minus 5. So you can then go, right, we're going to grab the common factor on that line, because that's plus 4. We're going to get the common factor, and it's that. So we can say, yep, 2x minus 5 is the common factor. Awesome. And then we are going to bracket the two terms that are outside. So we're going to make another one and go x plus 4, and voila, we're finished. Okay, so the last step would be, this would be find common factor again. And then the last step is put the terms that are in front into brackets, and then you have solved. Now these are some of the hardest ones, so if you can solve this, it's awesome. I might do another one let's pan down a little bit so you can sort of see. Can't sort of see that last step very well, but see that last step. I put the x and the plus 4 in one bracket, and the 2x minus 5 is common between both along there. At this point here, if they're matching, remember, you know you're on the right track and you've done the right thing. But if they're not, go back up to here, this step, maybe flick them around and then refactorize, and you might find where you made a mistake. Sometimes there can be a multiplication error, a sign error. Maybe you have to do a negative sign on the outside and then positive on the inside. You've got to check really carefully, okay, at that point. But it's quite easy. You just go back up, redo it again, make sure there's no common errors, or flip them around and then do it again and see if you get it, that they match at that point, and then you know you've got the right answer. Okay, awesome. I think that should be good enough.